What'd you do to me?
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Hot in Here, the completely original office chicken ball show where everybody's clothes stay on. I'm your host, Masonelli, and joining me today is a man you probably know. He goes by the name Tony Schmid. Some people call him Anton Schmidty.
They do.
They do. He is our director of operations here at Deksia, so let's give it a hand.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks, crowd, for not giving me a single hand.
This is great. I'm excited.
Are you?
No.
I heard you were pacing earlier this morning.
There might have been.
nervousness.
There was some pacing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you fear most about this board of progressive hotness?
I don't know. Just my tongue being on fire.
You fear your tongue.
Yeah, maybe throwing up all over you. I have no idea.
Well, it's fine. If that happens, then in the edit we'll just put a big black.
That's
R.
great. That's great.
Mm-hmm. We won't humiliate you.
That's good. You can if you want. I know what I'm. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I mean you signed the paper, so.
I did.
All right, you ready?
I'm
to
ready.
get into this first one.
I'm ready.
This is Matt's special sauce.
Matt's special sauce.
Yes.
Can we cheers?
Cheers to start off. Cheers to close.
Cheers. Oh, wow! You went for the home run. I want to do it. Huh. That's actually very tasty.
We actually had the perfect segue by calling it a home run into our first question.
Yeah.
So just like our first guest.
Oh, B.
Brian.
Mason?
Yeah, B. Mason.
Yeah.
You were a college baseball athlete as well.
I was.
And you played for?
I played for St. Joseph's College.
St. Joseph College in Indiana.
Yep, in northern Indiana.
Yep. And in 2002, you guys actually went to the finals of the Great Lakes Valley Conference tournament.
We did.
All the way to the final, and unfortunately lost 5-3.
We lost.
How does a loss at that level of athletics help you navigate disappointments in your life?
It's a great question. I'm trying to remember that game, the loss. I mean, you know, like you're in college. You're like, I was like 19, 20.
Were you trying to say you were?
I was young.
Oh, okay.
I was like, you know, like you prepare for something, you set your sights on something, and you're almost there, and you don't get it, and you're like, well, now what? You know, like I think when you play into a championship, you play with people for such a long time that you develop these bonds and trusts, and all of a sudden you're just like, oh, we just didn't do it. So you feel like a failure.
And does that help you in future disappointments to be like, this doesn't sting as much as the 2002 Great Lakes Valley Conference final?
Yeah, I think for me, a loss always stings no matter what, and it always will. Like I'm a pretty competitive person.
Gotcha.
I would take up, like I'm very competitive. So like I hate to lose. Like I hate it. That's probably when the worst of me comes out, is if there's a loss involved.
Gotcha.
And so even if it's like a small menial task,
A little
like
board game?
Board game, my wife, she's a terrible loser when it comes to board games and a terrible winner. And so she knows exactly what to do when she wins in a board game and I lose.
Just keep pressing the buttons.
Yeah, it's not pretty at our house.
It sounds healthy.
It's you know, it's not at all. We've had conversations about it, but
That's good.
I'm a sore loser. Like, and so I think
That takes a big man to admit.
my son called me a weak little man one time. He looked me dead in the eye, a 4-year-old. I was trying to push the door open, and he was on the other side, pushing it closed, and he stopped. So when he stopped, I stopped, and I was like, and he's like, "You're a weak little man, Dad. A weak little man." He said it twice. And so
That's double the
I
sting.
felt defeat right there. I felt the same sting. And I was like,
And then you turned around and had to go beat your wife at a board game?
yeah, I was like, what do I do with that? I just I got in the car and went to work. I was like, all right, I got to win at something today because I'm a weak little man. All right, I'm going for it.
Let your competitive fire take over.
Yeah, you should. The people before me did all of this, right? Like they beat them all. Was there a time? Like, what am I up against here? How can I win?
There's no time with
I
everybody.
thought, I'm not gonna do it. Not yet. Not yet.
That's how you can make it competitive for yourself. No liquids whatsoever.
You got it. Say no more.
You're a family man.
3 kids
3 kids and a wife.
and a wife.
I'm sure over the time you've built some family traditions that are your own. Some that are past traditions from your father, from your wife's father and mother. But one tradition that you stick to every single week is taking your kids to Little Caesars on Fridays.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. We don't take them. That would be a train wreck if we took them to Little Caesars. So we every Friday, I would say for the past 3 years. I think it started my son likes routine. He's just like he doesn't like this is what we did last week. He loved it. Why not do it? Like why do we need to do something different? And so this started probably 3 years ago where I'm just like looking for some, a Friday meal, cheap, Little Caesars, it's pizza. And so we do that every Friday.
And you eat it with them?
I don't touch it.
You don't touch the Little Caesars?
No. I get the wings.
Okay. You get your own little thing.
I get my own thing. Sorry, just working through this. That green one was spicy.
It was a little spicy for you?
Yeah, it's good. I'll get the wings or I'll get a salad and I'll watch them eat it. And I'll judge them because you've had this every Friday for the last 3 years.
But you haven't had wings every Friday for the last 3 years.
No, sometimes I don't eat it at all. Sometimes I'm like, sometimes I'll graze and have a breadstick because we get the crazy bread and I'm like, I'll just do that.
Yeah.
It's like, I like to show them that I can do something different on a Friday night.
So you're trying to set the example by continuing to bring them to Little Caesars and say, I don't have to do
Or
this.
I'm like, what if we went to Vitali's? What if we did this? Buddies. Like my son Max, it's like, no, it's Little Caesars.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go full wing. I'm full winging it here.
Okay.
All right. And then this'll. I'm all right.
So one thing that we've done that you may know on every single one of our episodes that we've ever done is we make our prestigious guests dig into the Photos app on their phone and find a little picture that they think is funny, that's from a time that has a good story behind it.
I got a couple. So the story is, I took that picture after a marathon. I was running a marathon. So I got dropped off in the morning. Jen dropped me off, my wife. It's like, all right, go have fun. Go kill it. Whatever. Go run your race. So I ran my race. But before that, this guy passed me. He's just walking. We're walking to the corrals, what they call it. And he walked past me and he's smoking a cigarette. And I'm like, how rude is that? Like, it's like very disrespectful. You're in like
Their
a
lungs getting ready to work.
corral that's looking really good right now. So I had to follow this guy for like probably 15 minutes. And he's just chain smoking. So he like smokes, flicks it out, lights up another one. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like the nerve of this guy. Like who does that? My nose is running.
Take care of that.
And so I don't see him again after he polishes off his third cigarette. I don't see him again until mile like 10 or 11. He runs past me. We didn't keep up for like a couple miles. He just like blew by me. So I'm like, wait a minute, this guy, who knows how many like cigarettes he's smoking a day? I've been like training for this for months, and he can smoke 3 or 4, however many cigarettes he wants before a race, and just like.
I mean, it sounds like he got in your head.
Oh, his 100%.
His goal hit.
He totally did. I'm like, this isn't no. And so like I try to pick up the pace. I try to keep up with him. No, he just like I can't even keep up with him. He just why don't I let him have it? So then the reason I took the picture is because I was like on the phone with my wife after the race, telling her to come get me, and I was like, whoa, gotta call you back. I gotta take a picture of somebody. I'll tell you in a second. Took a picture of him. That was like 5 years ago. I hold that picture in my phone
To remind you.
to remind me. It motivates me.
To now smoke 3
To
cigarettes.
smoke and
every
run.
race.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the motivation. To smoke before I run a race in front of a bunch of runners. Something tells me like the final 3 are not going to be like a fun journey.
You make your journey your own.
Yeah,
It can be
Isn't
fun.
that like the Lord of the Rings? Doesn't?
I don't know. I watched it like once.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. But
Are you putting that on me?
No,
Okay.
but it sounds like something that would come like you make the journey your own. Is what like
I don't
the,
think
the
Lord of
tall
Rings
wizard
said
guy
that.
would
That's
tell.
something Mason would say. Yeah.
That's from now
I
on.
have wisdom. Like
Lord of the
Mason.
Rings doesn't exist, just you and your wisdom. All right, you ready?
I'm Lord of the Wings.
Ooh, just for that, I'm gonna like full wing it. Just for that.
Yo, copyright.
Just for that, I'm gonna go all in.
All right.
I inhaled that one. Like, I inhaled the fumes of that.
It's got some fruitiness to it.
That's not the word I would use. I can see where you got that, but just don't talk first. Don't talk first. Don't talk first. Don't talk first. I'm good.
So years before you came and joined Deksia, you used to work at what is now one of the biggest summer camps in the area, Spring Hill.
Yeah.
Spring Hill Camp.
Spring Hill Camps.
What
Right.
is one of the funniest stories about something that happened while you were at Spring Hill Camp?
Oh man. So we had staff members at one point would stay. No, I'm not gonna do it. So we had a staff member. I'm gonna talk quick. So we had Spring Hill recruited about 1,000 summer staff a year. So we had a group of staff members that were staying at a host family. There was 4 staff at this one host family. I think that was the host family was in Indiana. And one of the staff members, they needed new tires for their car. And the host parents were like, oh, we'll take care of you. Like, we'll take care of like getting new tires. Took care of that. There's 3 other staff members there. So at the very end of the week, all 3 staff members got a check, basically saying, hey, we want to like make sure it's like fair. We help this person out. We're going to give the 3 of you the same amount that we helped pay for this person's tires.
That's beautiful.
Fast forward a couple weeks, I was leading one of the teams, and they were telling me about this. Like, oh, like one of the host families was really nice. They paid for their tires. And then the other 3 people got like an envelope, and I'm like, oh wow, like that's really cool. Like, I got a phone call and said, hey, the check that one of the people got that needs to be returned to the family. And I was like, well, I don't think that's possible. I think they already spent it. And I'm like, what's the big deal? They're like, well, the person who wrote the check put the zip code in the amount box. And I'm like, oh, wow.
goodness.
And I'm like, that's crazy. So I had to like go back to the person. I was like, hey, that check, like it was an accident, it wasn't for you. They're like, I'm sorry, I already spent it. I'm like, whoa, like.
Did they ever get the money back?
They did get the money back. It took some time, but I think it was, person like I felt bad for this person because
Imagine that guy who opens a check for like
like
multiple thousands of dollars and looking at the other person.
yeah, I'm like, why are you still here?
How are those
Yeah,
tires that expensive?
yeah. That's the first thing
Those
I thought.
gotta be the greatest
the
tires that
best,
have
yeah.
ever been created.
So then I had to I'm like, hey, like we gotta give this back. I'm like, let me just put this into perspective. Like my car doesn't even cost close to that amount of money. But that stays with me. Full wing it, right?
Go for it.
Real hard raw sauce. So saucy. It's really hot. That's a spicy one.
Mouth is smoking a little bit.
Yeah, that's good. It's really good.
Speaking of smoke,
I don't smoke.
you don't smoke. But at one time, unfortunately, your house did.
My house smoked? Oh
Your
yeah.
house was just full of smoke. And we weren't even home. Nobody got hurt. But you take us through the story. The time your house was
I'm doing it.
filled with
I'm
smoke.
ringing the bell.
You're going for it? I'll follow suit.
I just dip my tongue. That's on my tongue. Oh, that's hot. Woo! What'd you do to me?
I just asked you a question about your house being up in smoke.
my son, we were on a date night, Valentine's Day. We were on this year. We went to, I don't remember, we went to like a sports bar. It was romantic. Does it get better? Does it go away?
It goes away eventually, yeah.
Whew. Anyways. Took Jen to Shots. Was it Shots? I think it was Shots. For Valentine's Day. And we're just eating. No, we hadn't even gotten food yet. We ordered drinks. And I had left my phone in the car because I met her there. So I was waiting, and she was there. She came from, I think it was a conference or something. You don't care about that. I'm just, yeah. Her phone rings, and it's our son Max. It rings. She missed it. And then he FaceTimes. And it's like panic instantly. I hear yelling. And I hear the word help. And I'm like, what is happening there? And then I hear the word fire.
God.
And basically he tried to start a fire in the fireplace. He was trying to like start this for like us when we come home because it's Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to like set the mood,
Very nice,
very nice,
Mm-hmm.
But, he calls on the phone and he's like laying on the ground. He's like, I'm on the ground. I'm like, why on the ground? He's like, cause that's what they say to do. And I'm like, okay, that's true.
Smart move.
Yeah, super smart. And so fire alarm's going off and I'm like, open the flue. And then Jen's like, open the windows. And then she's like, call the neighbors. I'm like, don't call the neighbors. Don't do that. And I'll just like, that'll really make things like, I'm like, is there anything burning at the moment? Is there a flame that you can see? He's like, in the fireplace. So just open up all the doors and all the windows. And then he did that. He called back like 10 minutes later. No fire. Everyone's still alive. We got home though and our house smelled like a gigantic bonfire.
Well, Tony,
Don't do this to me.
we're on the last one.
We are.
Search yourself.
You and these statements. Is that lyric? All right. I'm
Ready?
Just like,
Just playing with your food.
I could do the dippy.
You can dip it, but then think about it.
Then I ruin the milk.
You
and
can't use the milk after.
So then I'm drinking spicy milk, basically.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
No.
I'm scared.
That's okay.
I'll be honest. There is some fear going through my body right now.
Fear's the mind killer.
All right.
You ready?
You're a great host, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Ting.
You're a great guest.
Thank you. Oh, amazing. All right. 1, 2. Oh, yeah. I shouldn't have done that. It was a mistake. Dingo?
Dingo. Dingo Psycho Hot Sauce. Claims to be 15 out of 10 heat.
I can taste the grit in that. Like it's like
The gritty heat.
yeah, like it's thick. It's like a toothpaste.
Yeah. Tony, you're at peak heat right now. You're feeling
I feel like
6 wings of progressive heatness.
I feel like the water's an accelerator. Like, does it say like, don't drink water because it'll accelerate the heat?
I don't think that's in the fine print for that one.
It should be.
But I have one last question for you. And that's if, for the rest of your life, everywhere you traveled, you had to travel by an animal, and it could not be a horse. What animal would you choose to travel by? And why?
A sloth? It was the first thing that came. I mean,
Why would you choose a sloth?
they're slow. If I'm traveling, I can take it all in. Get a good look at my surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
That's hot. That came on. It's a delayed heat.
Everyone's in his block. Yeah, like I like to observe.
Let's say you don't know me. When you pass me in the street, I'm just riding the back of a sloth with a backpack on, with a Deksia shirt.
I'd be
And it
impressed.
says, make it fun. I'm making it fun on that sloth.
Tony, you did it. You got through the whole board. You broke records. You conquered yourself.
This is yours.
It might be, I don't know. You can go for it. The last thing that you've earned now is you can look in that camera, that camera, that camera, promote something that you have nothing to do with.
Promote something that I have nothing to do with.
Yeah.
You know, I'll say this. There are people out there that their job is to like scrape gum off of the bottom of seats. And so I think just be mindful when you like are chewing your gum and you don't want it anymore and you put it underneath a seat. Because someone will come along as a job or punishment and have to take that gum off. And just be respectful of them. Like, swallow your, like, you take the sacrifice and don't put it under your seat. How's that? Is that good?